Welcome back to Adventures with Bam. I'm Brent Billings.
And I'm Maggie Billings.
And this episode has us reflecting on Mother's Day and International German Shepherd Day.
If you can believe that those two magical events happened in the same weekend, man, what a time to be alive.
A real 1-2 punch, huh?
A real 1-2 punch. I only found out, have we talked about Darius's love for German Shepherds? I don't know if we've really talked about that much on this podcast.
Maybe.
It's an ongoing, this has been nonstop for almost a year at this point. When we tell you that Darius is obsessed with German Shepherds, I don't mean they're his favorite dog. I mean, every conversation comes back to German Shepherds and has for about a year. Like, he was a German Shepherd for Halloween. I know we've talked about that. We did haikus for school a couple weeks ago. Sure enough, he wrote a haiku about German Shepherds. It's pretty good, actually. Yeah, everything is German Shepherds. He's read every book in our local library about German Shepherds, and every book about German Shepherds that our library will borrow from other libraries. So, yeah. And we recently started keeping track, like counting each day, how many times he mentions German Shepherds. What are we at today?
19,
which is nothing compared to...
64 was his max.
64 is the record since we started tracking a few weeks ago. So anyway, German Shepherds are, a big thing in our house. No, we don't have one. Nobody in our family has one. I don't even know how it started. Darius saw a dog and was like, "What's that dog?" And I was like, "That's a German Shepherd." And he's never looked back. So
my sister in Kansas actually has one.
Oh, does she? But he hasn't met
two?
He hasn't met the dog, I don't think.
No.
That's not where it started.
Has not met the dog.
Yeah,
no.
I think that's just an exciting coincidence for him.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, all that to say, Saturday morning this weekend, I was upon the internet and happened across some information that that day was International German Shepherd Day. And when Darius found out, he couldn't believe it. He was like, I caught it on the video because I was sitting in the backyard. So he came out to say hi. I'd let them watch cartoons, and he came out when he was done. And I was like, "Buddy, guess what today is?" And he's like, "What?" I was like, "You're not going to believe this, but it's International German Shepherd Day." And he's like, "What?" So the monitor picked it up and everything. He was like, International German Shepherd Day and Mother's Day in the same weekend. So he was pretty excited about it. Unfortunately, we did not celebrate as well as I would have liked to. There's a breeder just north of here who I reached out to and said, "Hey, any chance you guys do visits?" And it sounded like they kind of do, but they're not available this weekend and not for a while. So we were not able to do something like that, but we looked at pictures and watched videos of German Shepherds, among other things. But yeah, he was happy with it, I guess.
We had to settle for the farmer's market.
Yeah, which was also great.
It is great.
But we didn't see any German Shepherds there. I think he was desperate too. Like, there was one dog. He was like, "I think that one might have been a German Shepherd mix." I did not see a single dog that looked like it had ever even met a German Shepherd. But I think he was desperate to see his great love on German Shepherd Day, but maybe next year.
But it was also Mother's Day, so...
Yes, the next day was Mother's Day.
How did that go for you?
It was so great. I felt so spoiled on Mother's Day. Today's Monday, right? Yeah, Mother's Day was yesterday now, as we're recording this. Yeah, it was great. I got to sleep in. That was basically the one thing that I wanted. I was like, I really want to sleep in tomorrow. So yeah, I slept in, and then I woke up to cards from one specifically from Darius and one from you and Torrin. Those were lovely. And then, yeah, you guys went to church and I had time to wash my hair, which doesn't sound that exciting until I tell people that probably about half of my showers, like, I go in there to, like, obviously clean myself, but also have a bit of quiet. And probably about half of them, someone barrels in there and poops at the same time. So, and it's not a big bathroom. So it really kills the vibe. But nobody did that because you guys were at church. So I got to wash my hair in peace and drink my coffee in peace. And then I did some cleaning and laundry too, which doesn't sound relaxing, but I don't get to do it often with, few interruptions. So it was nice. And then you guys came back and you had presents for me and a balloon.
Yes, yes. They wanted to get you many balloons, but I
of course
talked them down to one.
That's good. The presents were especially exciting. One being a little bedside table fan. Very practical and useful because I'm always complaining about wanting airflow. Even in the cold months, I just need movement of air. I feel like I sleep so much better.
You had mentioned it as recently as less than 24
yeah,
hours
like the
before
night
we gave
before.
it to you.
And we can, we've got like a huge standing fan, but it plugs in the bathroom and then like stretches around the corner and then it's in the way. So you kind of got to like climb around it if you need to get up in the night. Not a perfect system, but bedside table fan is a perfect system. So that was great. And then my other gift, so excited, I've been telling people about this already, is an ice cream canteen. The purpose of this, it's basically like a Yeti mug, but in the size slightly bigger, but size and shape of a pint of ice cream so that you can travel with your pint of ice cream and it will stay frozen for up to 4 hours in the canteen. But then if you pop the canteen into a cooler, 8 hours, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And I know this sounds a little like, when would you use that? Guys, I would use it. I don't want to say often, but
why not?
But why not? I'll use it all the time now that I have it. It's not uncommon at all for us to travel, whether that's visiting family in Coeur d'Alene or if we're making a road trip somewhere else and we've gotten ice cream at our Airbnb, but then didn't have an opportunity to eat it. I don't want to waste ice cream. I don't want to leave ice cream at an Airbnb. So now I can travel with my pints of ice cream.
You've never done that, though.
Never done what?
Left ice cream at an Airbnb?
No, because I would never. But
yeah, you would bring it with us and eat it in the car for breakfast.
Well, yeah,
before
but
you
now,
would leave it.
But now I don't have to. Now I can bring it with me and bring the ice cream home from the Oregon coast without having it for breakfast.
There you go.
Or having it the night before we leave when I'm not really, not really hungry for it.
Tillamook straight from the factory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like the ice cream canteen is its own thing, but the one that you got for me is Tillamook branded from the factory.
Because you like Tillamook ice cream.
I do. I also like Ben and Jerry's, but Tillamook's top tier.
We're not going to go to the Ben and Jerry's factory on a road trip, probably.
Yeah, wouldn't that be in Vermont?
Vermont.
Yeah, I don't think that's a road trip kind of.
I mean, maybe
situation.
Maybe someday, but
maybe a train trip.
It'd be quite the road trip.
Yeah. So anyway, ice cream canteens exist, and if you're listening, ice cream canteen, and you want to sponsor us, that's fine. I would allow that, and I would continue to sing your praises.
I can think of a dozen other things that would sponsor us before they would, and nobody's going to sponsor us, so don't worry about it.
What? So, yeah, and then what did we do? So I opened presents, and then we went on a hike, a little nature walk at Idler's Rest Nature Preserve, which is a lovely place. I mean, 5 minutes outside of Moscow?
It's like 10, 12 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. Very, very short drive, but it feels very far away because the Palouse is, hilly farmland. And then all of a sudden you're in the forest. It's a bizarre shift, but it's wonderful.
It's not that big of a spot, but it's at the end of a dead end road. So it's very quiet out there.
Yeah. It's so nice. So yeah, went out there for a little nature hike, ran into some friends we knew there too, which was great. And then zipped back so that I could get dropped off at the Kenworthy, our little local theater, downtown Moscow, for a 20th anniversary showing of Pride and Prejudice. Obviously, the one from 2005 with Keira Knightley. I will say, because I know this is like a hot topic for a lot of people in the Pride and Prejudice realm, that a lot of people say that the BBC miniseries with Colin Firth is better. I watched it a few years ago out of curiosity because I had only ever seen the 2005 version. I was underwhelmed. I was underwhelmed. And I am sure it's one of those things that if you grew up watching it, it's probably the best. And I understand that it's probably truer to the book, but the 2005 one is just so beautiful. Like the chemistry is great between the two leads. The acting's incredible. The scenery is incredible. I have my favorite and I won't apologize for that. So it was great. Packed house. It's a great time.
No need to apologize.
I won't. So yeah, nature walk, Pride and Prejudice, and then came home, and then we just kind of chilled. I don't know. I feel like I didn't have to cook all weekend, and that was a real big plus because I hate cooking.
I do hate to break it to you, but the Letterboxd community has an average rating for the Keira Knightley version as 4.1 stars and the Colin Firth version as 4.3 stars.
Wow, so, those are both terrible.
That's actually high for Letterboxd. That's a really good average.
What is
very heavily weighted towards the 5-star ratings?
Oh, 5 is the top. I thought it was going to be out of 10.
No.
I was like, those are terrible ratings.
Nope.
Yeah, I think more people seem to like the Colin Firth version.
But at 327 minutes versus 127 minutes.
Right. I don't have time for a mini-series.
I don't want to watch either of them, but I know which one I'm picking every time.
Yeah. I hear a lot of people say that the BBC miniseries is that's their comfort watch when they're sick. And I'm like, I don't have time for a whole miniseries every time I'm sick. Like, yeah, I need a tight 90 basically for
it's 2 hours.
Well, I need a tight 120
but versus 6.5 hours.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just awful to think about.
I think it's obviously slower moving because you've got episodes, but yeah, I feel like the chemistry is not there as much. Whatever. I'm all for Colin Firth. You know what I noticed though? One of the more recent times that I've watched the new one. So the whole thing, not the whole thing.
New one as in Keira Knightley.
Yes.
Okay. The 20-year-old
yeah. new one. So a big thing that gets discussed, I don't know if this happens in the book. I never read Pride and Prejudice. A big thing in the Colin Firth BBC miniseries is the shot when he's like, he comes out of the lake, like he was swimming out of the lake. Elizabeth Bennet is visiting his home and doesn't think he's there, and surprise, he is, and he comes out of the lake and his shirt is wet. The way this is spoken of sounds like it's canon. Like I think this happens in the book. It doesn't happen in the 2005 film. So I don't know if I think what they substituted it for, or maybe this happened in the book as well, was like maybe they intentionally went a different direction to communicate things a little bit differently, which is fine, artistic license. But it was interesting to me because I feel like everybody talks about Colin Firth coming out of the lake.
Okay, here's
not my Pride and Prejudice.
A couple of interesting things on the Letterboxd listings.
Tell me.
So a lot more people who I follow have seen the Keira Knightley version.
Sure.
Of the people who have seen both, only one of them has given both of them ratings. My buddy Bryce, and he gave Keira Knightley 3.5 and Colin Firth 4.
Wow.
So there's that. However, if you put a movie in your 4 favorites on your profile, you are considered a fan of the movie.
Okay.
The Keira Knightley version has 129,000 fans.
Wow. That means it's in the top 4 for that many people.
Right.
Okay.
The Colin Firth version has 2,000 fans.
Wow.
So,
interesting.
59,000 ratings for Colin Firth and 1.3 million ratings.
So when
it's a lower average, but it's out of a lot more people.
So if I'm understanding the numbers and just cultural, I don't know, it seems that of the two, more people prefer the Colin Firth, but the Colin Firth isn't making it to as many people's favorite films because it's not a film, it's a miniseries.
Yeah, it just has a higher average. Now there is a little bit of the fact that it's not like truly a movie means it's a little bit of a black sheep on Letterboxd.
Sure.
But it is a limited series, so that's why it does appear there. A regular ongoing seasonal TV series does not show up on Letterboxd.
Okay.
but there's also a bit of a recency bias. But 2005 is not recent enough that it would really fall into that. So I don't know. I think a lot more people are like rewatching. I don't know.
Rewatching the 2005?
It's hard to say.
I mean, they have been plugging it a lot lately.
Yeah.
Like
it's on
the last
Netflix,
couple
so
months.
that's a huge.
Oh, it is on Netflix now.
But the miniseries is on Prime and Hulu, so it's not like it's inaccessible.
Yeah. I just don't think it's as good. And I know that sounds like heresy to a lot of people, but I don't know. I came in late to the Pride and Prejudice world. I never saw any. I mean, I saw the 2005 version when I was like 22. I knew nothing about it. I knew nothing about the characters. I went in completely blind. We didn't read Jane Austen in school. So yeah, that's all I had for years until like 2 years ago. I was sick and I was like, well, let's try this other one out. And wasn't my favorite. It was interesting to have it expanded and to get, I think, more detail in storyline and character development. But yeah, I still didn't like it as well.
Fair enough. This episode has gone a different direction than I expected.
It sure has. You're going to have to title it Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, gosh.
2005 Keira Knightley version versus BBC miniseries with Colin Firth.
No, I don't want to.
Don't do it then. All that to say, Mother's Day was good and International German Shepherd Day was good too.
There you go.